It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo Afolabi Brand. As always, I have a lovely co-host. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
It's an exciting Tuesday.
Yo, yo, yo.
You know, bittersweet, but, you know, still all the same exciting. How you doing, Nima?
Very well, Lou, and an apologetic Tuesday for me because yesterday I got a call from the Honorable Chairperson, Oriade LCDA, and she said she heard that I said she was not approachable on the show. You know, remember I asked the man that, how do you plan to be in touch with your people?
Yeah, we remember.
Because I couldn't get into Oriade LCDA.
Right.
But at the time when I went there, she wasn't even elected chairman yet. So she heard, she got called, now. People thinking I was referring to her. So this morning I told her I would do a rejoinder and clear it properly that it was during the era of the last executive secretary at the time in 2015. She wasn't elected yet. My apologies, ma. Thank you for calling me. She's very approachable. And I got feedback from everybody that knew her. The things I've heard about her have always been positive.
So this one is approachable.
So she is. So now I can make a call and I see something wrong in the idea or even walk into her office.
Hey, Mariam.
Hi, ladies. My senator quickly. Sorry.
Senator.
How are you, Mariam?
I'm fine.
How you doing, Mariam?
I'm doing good. Yes, as you said, you know, bittersweet. Lots of people are a lot calmer now today. And we've heard the government, you know, everyone is talking here and there, good news here, bad news there. We're hearing, you know, stories from the other side, you know, things like that. But we're just prayerful. And then I also want to send a shout out to my cousin, Sickle. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday.
Nice. Happy birthday, Sickle.
May I just say quickly, right? I'm very spiritual, look, very spiritual. But prayers is for spiritual matters. When it comes to physical things, God gave us a brain. We're exactly like him in a physical body to do the things we ought to do. So after praying for the spiritual knowledge and wisdom, do the right things physically. We can't pray away what we ought to do.
How are you doing, Jumo?
Amazing. I'm very grateful to God for this physical body. That is able to do what I ought to do.
So how is business?
Which is feeding 1,000 people in July.
Dramatic.
Just because I mentioned it yesterday, actually, I got a call from somebody who's saying, look, Jumoke, I know that the logistics will be huge. I've always wanted to do something like this. I don't know what to do and how to do it. How can I help? And I'm like, okay, just give us 2 people to help us distribute the food, and that's all.
That's
you know.
Fantastic.
I thank God. Business is good. Madam, the person who bought you this dress.
Oh, Mariah is looking really pretty in her
Did
dress.
you good, madam?
Yes.
I thought the dress is too short.
No. Sister in Christ.
I mean, it's all the way to your...
No. When I stand up, it's actually on my knee. This is because I'm sitting there.
So they knew they were buying the dress, right, for TV, and your flirt will cover your knees. Plus your heels, you're just looking...
Trust me, Jumoke hardly gives anybody compliments. Like, for her to even give me this compliment.
No, but that's not true. Jumoke gives me compliments all the time.
Very, very, very.
Oh, okay.
Jumoke doesn't give compliments. She'll see you and look at you and she'll like, I move on.
Right, how are you?
I'm doing well. I've joined our Sister in Christ meetings and women, you know, and I feel like a mother in Christ.
It is well.
Praying, fire. I'm like, fire must die.
Let me warn you, all those prayer, fire people, before you know, you also start to have a mentality of that there's one evil spirit.
Let me tell you something, Jumoke. There's evil. This is Africa. This is Black Africa. Don't go there.
Tell me.
People are, listen, there's altar of the market. When you enter market, as you enter the market like this, I hear that there's one altar in the market. Once you enter the market, the altar makes you be buying and coming. Let's go there.
I can't believe Mariah.
This is called.
I can't believe
what they call this thing.
There are different
kinds of altars
that people build to put together
to
force people to do things. And you must build a spiritual altar to back you up.
What did Jesus do when he went to such altars?
Let's build that altar in Plateau State so that we can stop killing.
When we come back, I didn't explain it very well, but don't worry, you get the message. When we come back, we'll go through the front pages of the message.
All right, I'm not sure about this, your Christian mother.
We're back. We'll start with the punch. Outrage over play to killings. Buhari, Saraki, ACF, Khan, Falana condemns massacre. FG promoting injustice by not prosecuting killers, says Tamini Suraki. Attacks retaliatory, says Macban, the North Central chairman. Picture here of grazing of cows at the entrance of the National Assembly in Abuja. I want to go to jail because I have integrity, says Buhari. Tears anger as the Banjo son drowns in swimming pool. Alleged 4.7 billion naira fraud. Judge's elevation stalls Ladoja's trial. 49 million naira scam. Buhari dissolves. NAPTEP board reinstates suspended registrar. And AMCON to sell its shares in aero contractors. We'll take play two a bit later, but let's talk about either the Banj or who has the NAPTEP story.
Jumoke has a NAPTEP story. So President Muhammad Buhari yesterday on Monday dissolved the National Business and Technical Examinations Board. What had happened was that the registrar, Professor Ifoma Abanihe, was alleged to have misappropriated 49 million naira, and she was suspended by the board while investigations were going on. Guess what? The president disbanded the board and reinstated the registrar.
Whoa.
Okay. Saying that the board did not carry out due process before suspending her. I would have expected that while investigations were still going on, if he
step aside,
yes, and allow investigate. So if she wasn't guilty, right, allow the investigations go on, prove her innocence, and then do what you need to do. Right. Just in case she is guilty, now that you have reinstated her, she can cover up her tracks. Exactly. Because the lady had apologized for the missing funds before. Now you have just reinstated her, and we're supposed to be fighting corruption.
Let's move on to The Nation. Anger over Play 2 killings. We'll take Play 2 in the Vanguard. Can is a loss as how scores of people can be killed without any form of resistance by soldiers. Picture here of our boys battle against Argentina. No special treatment for Messi. Akinjide returns 650 million naira to EFCC. Fasomi to Afenifere reject Obasanjo. And how Kwara was swindled of 227 million by witness. So Akinjide was the former FCT minister. She returned 650 million naira. This the investigation that's been carried out alongside Diezani. So hopefully, if they start returning money, hopefully we'll get some more money back. But at least she's been able to return that amount of money.
Is she locked up or she's returning?
What's her first name? There's also a Jumoke Akin.
Yeah, that's her. That's her.
She was from Ekiti. Yes, she was a lawmaker.
Yes. Okay, so let's move on to Daily Sun. Tears anger over bloody Play 2 will get killers, vows Buhari. Picture here, jubilant IPOB members after Justice Binta Nyako granted bail to some of their detained members. Restructuring, agitators have personal agenda, says President. World Cup, no mercy for Messi in battle against Argentina, saves Roar. And Nnamdi Kanu's men granted bail, barred from Larry's press interviews. And
while addressing the Urubu elders yesterday, the president was saying that, that the people agitating for restructuring had personal interest, and that is why he wasn't open to it, but it is most likely going to revisit it and, look at all the interests involved.
Regardless of the interest of the people agitating, does he think that restructuring is what Nigeria needs? Are we truly united, or we're just a machination of the colonialists?
I think also the vice president had echoed this recently, that they're not totally oblivious to the benefits of restructuring, but it needs to be done in good faith. We need to ensure that all sides...
So as far as there are good sides to it, can we find a way to put out a blueprint of how it can be done?
Right. Moving on to Vanguard. Play 2 massacre, retaliation for lost 300 cows, says Mieti Allah. Buhari regrets attacks, says politicians taking advantage of farmers and herders' clashes. PDP bemoans killings, carpets Buhari and APC. 9 Mobile Airtel opposed transfer of Visa phones 800 megahertz spectrum license to MTN. How the Banjo son drowned. Clamor for restructuring laced with parochial interest, says Buhari. FG recommends compulsory tuberculosis test for public servants students. And CJN bars judges from uploading personal pictures on social media. I wanted to read that, I forgot. Let's talk about Mieti Allah. Yeah,
so the chairman of the North Central Zone of Mieti Allah, MACBAN, Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, he says that the attack looked retaliatory. Yes, so what he is saying that over the past week, over a past period, over 300 cows were killed, and no one said anything. So it was expected that these attacks would happen. And that's that this was to be expected. If cows have been taken, that soldiers
let me quote him.
Okay.
Danladi Siroma says, these attacks are retaliatory. As much as I don't support the killing of human beings, the truth must be told that those who carried out the attacks must be on a revenge mission. What are they revenging? The killing of the cows. That's right.
They said soldiers had already gone,
tried to
recover the. Okay, what happened is they have cattle rustlers. Okay. So these are not even communities just stealing cows and putting in their homes. These are people that it's a crime. This is their job. They steal cows and they take them to different parts of the country and steal them. So, and soldiers had tried to go after these people, and they said at least 2 soldiers were killed in this, while trying to get this cattle back.
Yes,
and these rustlers are part of the community, so people know who these people, these rustlers are, these criminals are, and they do not talk about it. So they have retaliated.
I got provoked when I read it because we've lost lives.
Yes,
and
over 200.
I insist when I sit here that when institutions are created, it is to forestall these kind of things from happening. So we have a security agent and somebody steals your property. The same thing as stealing my wedding ring. I will make a report at the police station. Somebody will be arrested and prosecuted for stealing from me rather than taking someone's life for a chattel. Now a cattle is a chattel, a mere property, and 300 lives had to go for that.
Lives that cannot be replaced.
The agitations will not end now. Self-help will come. More crimes will happen. More lives will be lost because these people have not found justice.
Also, I expected Mietiala, as much as their person is saying that he does not agree with killing of human, I expected their condemnation to be strong. Their soft condemnation seems like support. We expect, or what do you expect when 300 cows? So, for 2 days, 100 masked men go into 11 villages and start to kill people, over 200, because they're looking for 300 cows.
No security operatives.
No drone. We
must have to call a crime what it is.
I wanted to go to the security operatives because also the customs are saying that they're borrowing the Air Force drones to track rice smuggling into Nigeria. How come we're not borrowing the drones to track these masked men?
Right. This is really, this is something that we need to actually look into more. We're going to discuss about this much later, but this is really pathetic indeed. Let's move on to the Nigerian.
It's an admission of crime.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that's arrest should be inevitable.
We should sit them down. Maybe they know who these cattle owners are, and let's see if they're the ones that mark themselves.
Outrage over Plateau massacre. Moving on, Nigeria overtakes India as country with largest number of extreme poverty. Restructuring, though based on selfish motives, can still be accommodated. Kano court grants 4 IPOB members 10 million naira bail each. Kwakonso Indikiti says new PDP will determine his move. Okay, let's go to the Nigeria and India. Nigeria overtakes India. That is another sad story.
Brooklyn's Institute. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, India has had the report that they had 73 million people living in poverty in India, and they are dropping that numbers. But Nigeria now has 97 million people living, and counting living in poverty in Nigeria. So we have overtaken. I just wanted to put the figures out there so we know that we have overtaken India. We are now number one. Now the indices are worse. We do not have the land mass India has.
We do not have their population
India has. The fact that India's poverty level is dropping is a deliberate government policy to change the narrative in India.
Exactly.
We cannot continue to grow.
It was intentional.
Yes.
Which is what China also did, right?
Let me just quickly link it to where I'm going. Failure of our systems have resulted in us having more IDPs.
Yes.
More people without justice, people living outside their home, people not being able to fend for themselves.
More unemployment.
We will get to 100 million if we do not take deliberate action.
We're going to look into that because it is the topic we're talking about.
May I just say that China's population is ×6 of Nigeria's population.
Unfortunately, we can't go any further. I actually wanted to take the story about the beheaded prostitute, but unfortunately, we have run out of that. Run out of time. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we're going to discuss our hot topic, Nigeria versus Argentina. And on Let's Talk, remember last week we had a conversation on sickle cell? So this time around, we brought somebody who's going to help us understand the other arguments concerning sickle cell maintenance and prevention. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
One life, live it up, 'cause you got one life. That's sweeter when you reach that goal. That's sweeter when you reach.
Power Oil, healthy for you.
Yes, thanks for staying with us. This segment is obviously brought to you by Power Oil. So today, Super Eagles take on Argentina in their final opening round match of the 2018 World Cup. Both squads will be desperate for the full 3 points to advance out of Group D. An outright win will take Super Eagles to the second round, while other results will determine the finish if they draw or lose the game. Now the question is, what are our chances? So we have the TVC communications correspondent who is all the way in Russia. Promise, before we get into building. Promise, are you there? Hey, Promise. Look happy now. Please encourage us in Nigeria. We need your encouragement. How are things?
No matter the smiles, I mean, the smiles on my face will not do the business on the pitch. Whether I smile from now till tomorrow, it has no impact on what the performance of the boys will be later tonight, you know. But most importantly is the fact that Nigerians here are positive. We are hopeful that the Eagles can do the business later tonight. We saw a very shambolic, performance in the first game against Croatia. We saw a much better.
Oh, we're having issues with the connection. Okay, we'll have a conversation with the ladies and find out if we can get some connection back. Okay. So what are your views? I mean, last week everybody was excited, you know, and there's this superstition going on. This one that all of us are all excited. You know, somebody said it on Facebook that that's how we're all celebrating. What's that guy's in 1994? Yekini. I made look at it was Yekini's win when it was a full team.
Oh,
so it kind of discouraged the other team members. Have we put too much emphasis on Musa because they're all greeting Musa, not knowing that it's a team effort and don't let the other guys get discouraged.
May I say that I was so excited. I don't have the heart to watch Nigeria's games. So I did not watch, but you just listening to the noise of my cousins when they were shouting. And I came out. So what is it? They say 1-0. Okay. And then go back in. The second one, the noise did not go down. Even me announced, hey, Nigeria, she didn't watch the ball with us. So, you know, so I was so excited about the results on Friday. And I guess that the coach took back all our criticism from the first match and made adjustments, plus our super kit, you know. I think that kit is our #1 trophy. They wore it and we won.
Anyways.
But over the weekend, with all that has happened with the Plateau massacre, for today's game, I'm just a little calm and just maybe if we lose this game, we will be able to focus on what is really important.
But I think we also shouldn't steal the moment from us. This is our moment. This is a big deal. World Cup happens only once. Is it 4 years or 5 years they do it? So I understand that. That's key. That's important. But let's not join issues. Let's just focus on today's match.
Okay, my own advice is that. So you want to go?
Yes,
first?
I wanted to go.
Ahead,
and I understand, Mariah. You know, I was saying to someone yesterday that when we were talking about this Plateau massacre at the office, I sort of, sorry, I'm getting somewhere. You know, I sort of dampened the spirit around me, you know, and I'm saying people already have, you know, things that they also struggle with, but let's just hope that this will just give us a little relief, a little something to just you know, be happy about, to smile about. You know, it does not take away our issues, but that's why we're sitting here and discussing it. I didn't watch, I watched the last match. I did not watch the first match. So now I think what the secret is that people need me to watch your matches. Because when I watch your match, you win.
Okay,
Watch
your Nigerian matches,
I hope we
you
can
will
link up
win.
with Promise again to have an idea what's going on. Yes, Nima, your
For
thoughts?
being too much of a Nigerian, I lack the courage to watch a Nigerian match. I only wait for the chairs outside. So if I don't hear any noise, we are not winning. Once I hear, I will dance in my house. And then at the end of the match, I watch the review. But I noticed I can watch other countries' match.
Right.
So I saw Messi lose a penalty.
Right.
Yesterday, I saw Ronaldo lose a penalty and even got a yellow card.
Wow,
so
fantastic.
Nigerians, please, let's not get too much of this praise into our head. Let's keep a calm
Those are good
spirit
indications for
and
us.
play a good match. When
We play.
the best of the best are failing.
So these are-
You can't be too full of
brother,
yourself or
it's
too
prayers
confident.
now.
It's
The
the
prayer
word.
that's making
But
the
he said, I think it
best.
was David and Goliath. You know, that we're going to see who's going to win this battle. And hopefully
There's no
it's David.
Goliath in this match. Anybody.
Sister,
And
are
you
you
know what
lying to yourself? Wait.
Is Messi the Goliath?
No.
I think Promise is back. Promise, are you there? Hello, Promise.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a few minutes left, Promise. So tell us, in your view, you're in St. Petersburg, and
Yes,
this
I'm back.
is
Can
going
you
to.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very clearly. It's going to go down tonight. How prepared are the guys for this match?
No, Elaine.
Oh,
I can hear you, Promise.
no.
Oh, sugar.
You see, I heard we have met Argentina. Nigeria has met Argentina 8 times, and I think we won only 2 of those matches in the 8.
Only in friendly matches.
Only in
Friendly or no
so
friendly?
twice
Even a
we
match
have
is match
won.
now.
Only.
Match is match.
Match is not
Friendly.
match.
Please.
Match is not
See,
bad.
in the
though.
past, Argentina,
Friendly.
I can say it here, they are known for Ojoro. They do a lot of Ojoro. But this time around, we have this whatever viewing.
Yes, they go and check the
So you
video.
people should bring it on. We'll go back and watch the review before we
Anyway,
give the penalty.
so let us pray. Everybody,
Again,
in Jesus'
Christian
name.
mother.
Mariah,
No, let's pray.
Gio.
In Jesus' name.
Mariah.
It is not. Say amen.
Tweet addressing your prayer.
Okay.
Ademola Alalade says, Mariah, please ask Nigerians to fast and pray
Yes.
for this match against Argentina as you did
Yes.
for the Iceland
so
game.
please let us fast and pray. Father, in the name of Jesus,
Mariah, he has not
Messi
finished.
will break his leg. Say
Mariah,
amen.
No. I don't pray for the demise of someone
I
else.
cannot say amen to
Nigeria
Messi. We will
should
win. That's all.
Nigeria should also put on their kits, which always help to victory. Anyway, good luck to all Nigerians. Umana Joseph says, I love to be realistic. Argentina will take the day.
We will not take the day.
Jumoke,
They will not take the
you
day. I'm
don't
not
want
into
to
match. They will
you
not
don't want
take
that
the
kind of
day.
thing. Anyway, we have to round up, but the truth is that we wish the Super Eagles the best, and we are going to fast like we did last time. Remember,
keep it
we called a
calm,
fast, so we are fasting. No eating. We'll break after the match. Abi, that's what we agreed last time, and we did it, and it worked. And some people are anointing the screens. Please, that little woman that anointed the screen, please anoint again. They are anointed in the mighty name of Jesus. Blood of Jesus. We won the match. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we started a conversation last week on sickle cell, and it got lots of reactions, both local and international. Even the papers, it made front pages and Punch twice.
Yeah.
So we've gotten somebody who's going to come and give us the other arguments concerning sickle cell. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. As I said earlier, we started a conversation on sickle cell disease, which had been trending due to the perspective of the guest we had last week. Today, we have the chairman, Sickle Cell Foundation of Nigeria, Professor Olu Akinyanju, and a sickle cell, who also has sickle cell, and a sickle cell survivor, Atinuke Adeleye. Welcome to the show, Atinuke.
Thank you.
So, to give us a view, you can call us on 070-806-6804. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. So, sir, Prof, last week, we had a guest who obviously almost shook all the tables and well, and his general argument, I think we're going to get him on maybe much towards the end of the show. His argument really was not so much against people living with sickle cell. His argument was the fact that we have to find a way to stop it. And in stopping it is such that there should be a law banning people from even coming together in the first place. And those living with it should be managed. But in your view, sir, how do we best manage sickle cell affordably for people?
It can be managed because with the modern technology, which fortunately was developed in America, because the African Americans have sickle cell anemia. So because of that, they had invested a lot of money since 1972, and they have 25 sickle cell centers. And the average lifespan is now about 60 for people with sickle cell anemia in America. And it's growing too in Nigeria. That's why you have with me here the two members. One is a mother, 41-year-old. The other one is a grandparent. She's about 68 years old this year.
But the numbers are good in America. Wouldn't we say the numbers are better in America? Because that's a society that works. You know, we refer to our last guest here when we first talked about it. He specifically mentioned Nigeria. You know, we're suffering a lot of things. Basic amenities we cannot, you know, even afford or, you know, we can't get. And the way to manage sickle cell seems very expensive, inaccessible. You know, these are people that cannot eat. Talk less of accessing this this sort of medication treatments that you're talking about. So isn't that the numbers are better in America because, okay, that's a better society, but in Nigeria, because it's so much worse, shouldn't we just concentrate on maybe not having these children?
No, it's not possible. There was a time they tried that in America and somewhere in Italy or so with a condition known as thalassemia. It just doesn't work. I've had a doctor in my own clinic marry one of my patients, new. And we've had SS marrying SS. I've seen that in Brazil too. And somebody tried to stop it in Nigeria, one military governor in Oyo State, several years ago. And the lawyers came out and said it's not possible. You cannot really stop anybody marrying somebody. They have to know, okay, this may happen. Yes.
Yeah. So Professor Toyka's stance, because I watched the show last week, was like that their foundations, like the Sickle Cell Foundation of Nigeria, and some pastors that encourage, he called us disadvantaged genotype to marry, because they get funding, you know, for their foundations rather than discourage people. So is this true? Because you run a foundation.
That they do what?
That they encourage people who have AS to marry rather than discourage them just because they get funding.
Funds for them.
I don't understand what you mean.
Okay, let's direct that question. Okay, in your view, you watched the show last week, or you heard about these?
I heard about it.
Yeah. So in your view, do you think it's better to manage or to even prevent it in the first place?
In my view,
right,
I'll say we should avoid it.
Okay.
Like they say, obedience is better than sacrifice. Sickle cell, unfortunately, when you discover that you have one, you just have to live with it. Now, onus is on you if you want to live or you want to die. For Christians, they will quote Isaiah 53:5, by his stripes we're healed. But for normal people, they will say, okay, I'm SS, so automatically I should be sick. But the question you directed at Prof, that some people now, SS will marry SS so that they can get funded for a foundation just to be making money. I think they are parochial in their thinking. They are. Because if they are not, what we should be talking about is avoidance. Personally, I intentionally married AA. Apostle Jide Adeleye is my husband. And in fact, when we met, he said, I want to marry you. I said, you can't marry me. I am a sickler, SS. I've had so many boyfriends that ran away once they see me in crisis. They run. But this Apostle Gidi Adele is a rugged man. He has faith.
Right.
I'm sure he's watching us right now. And he said, is it in the Bible? That was his own view.
Right.
And do you know, to shock you, my husband doesn't know anything about SS.
Right.
So he said, what is SS? Is it ZZ? If it's ZZ, I will marry you. Is it in the Bible? That is his own perspective.
So
But
in your case, you intentionally married somebody with AA, so it doesn't continue, which is what was which was the professor's position last week.
Yeah.
Let me let Nima jump in here.
how
Let me
strong?
just tell you,
Okay, hang it there.
I have SS that I knew because she was so sick, and I treated this patient in St. Nicholas Hospital many years ago, and it got better. He had what we call acute chest syndrome. Now we know how to treat acute chest syndrome because of research again we've done in America. And she said she was going to get married. Her husband is coming to meet her, and she looked at me and said, Prof, my husband has AS. She thought I would jump up. I said, okay. I said, at first, I said, no, we can't come together because I'm SS, you are AS. Then she went out with somebody with AA, said it didn't work. So they got back together. And he flew from America, he's a Nigerian too. And they got married. I went to the engagement. They're back now in America. They have 2 children. She brought them home last year because her father was 80 years old. And she came with these 2 children.
And you're doing well?
They're doing well. Both of them happen to be AS and AS. And there are people, what we're saying is that, you see, I have hypertension, but I've lived long. I've treated a doctor who lived to 92 with hypertension. There are people with diabetes, and now people with sickle cell. You've got to treat them properly. We're learning, and as we learn, it's getting better and better.
I hear you
they
say-
can live with them.
What I hear you
You see, if you want to, people say, avoid it. Take all the people with SS, take them to Iceland, or say, don't come back to Nigeria. That is not possible. Everything depends on technology and science.
All right, point taken. Neymar, coming
I
here,
agree
please.
with you, but what the prof was saying last week, which I also agreed with, was that he wasn't talking about an ASS marriage. What he was saying harshly, because he was criticized for talking too harshly, was that AS and AS have no business coming together. Now, people criticize the prof for being too blunt or too harsh. How do you want to, is there a subtle way now of passing across this message that let's not encourage this, because you agreed with him also that let's not encourage this sort of marriages. I believe that probably in his experience, he has seen too many of them. And even last year in the hospital, I lost a bedmate to sickle cell while she was trying to have a baby. So we know these things don't really work in our climes. And how subtle can you be?
And also to add to that,
passing
Anima,
across the message?
sir, you mentioned technology a lot. Some of these things are not readily available because he was actually focused on the poor people.
Yes.
It's easy to say somebody was treated in St. Nicholas, all
In
this because, you know,
America.
in America. The man on the street who has sickle cell, the fact that they cannot manage it. So shouldn't we have taken, according to him, take a radical approach? Say, guys, stop this thing from the source. Those who now have it, let us find a way to manage it, but don't even let it come at all. We need a radical approach to this, don't you agree?
Where I disagree with him was
With
that
the prof of last
with
week.
the prof from last week is research that has made me today know that I'm AS.
Okay.
My parents knew nothing. So when they asked him about research and care and maintenance, the way he described it as a waste. How can it be a waste? We will not be here today discussing. I could have been SS for all my parents knew of their genotype.
Right.
So the way he described it, as much as we're all talking about prevention, don't say that is a waste to further research. What if the person who is living with SS, based on further research, that person is able to live a better life?
Okay, let's go.
They already have it.
I'll come to you, Mariam, but let me go.
answer.
Let's focus on the waste that Jumoke just mentioned, Prof, and I want you to answer this. He said he's a professor of genetics, and that
Based on his research,
there's
no
nothing that
solution.
can change genetics. That's what she's saying. That why is it called a waste? Do you agree with that word? Is it really a
And there are
waste?
things that can. There's a genetic cure for sickle cell, and somebody was cured in Paris last year. It was in the genetic cure has been there for a long time, and is going to eventually overtake bone marrow transplantation. Because bone marrow transplantation can be used now to cure sickle cell disorder.
Okay.
And we're in fact developing it at Luth as we speak now.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Now, but eventually genetic care would come in. You can't ask people, don't marry this person because she's this or she's that. You can make people live, and this is why we have, look at her. She said, people said she was going to die before 20. Now she's 41. She's a businesswoman. She wrote a book.
20.
Yes. Look at my friend waiting here, Mr. Walifano. She's 68. He's a grandparent. And look at our Sickle Cell Club. I started in 1984. Now we were all, I was the first chairman. Now only the chairman has AA or AS.
Let's go on a quick break.
Everybody there has sickle cell. The vice president is also a lady of 66. Wow. She's a grandmother.
Okay, let's go on a break, sir.
Really
right. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Take some calls. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have Professor Cyril Otoikan on the phone with us. Hi, Prof. Are you still there? Hello, Prof.
How are you?
Good. Your interview with us last week shook a lot of tables and got lots of reactions. Yes. So I know Jumake has been waiting to ask you a question. Jumake, go ahead.
Excellent morning, sir. So, as a professor of genetics, I know that it is research, that has made you a prof that you are yourself. And as a sickle cell carrier, the reason I know who I am today, and the first question I'll ask any man is, what's your genotype? Is because some people did research, right? So, it's awareness that has brought us to where we are. So I found it a little offensive last week when you said that to further research into care and maintenance of sickle cell is like packing money inside a water sachet in a moving vehicle and throwing out. Why? Please explain, sir.
Thank you very much. And I have even had the opportunity to listen to you while you were talking before. There's something I want to appeal to the whole world about this issue, mostly Africans, is that we should leave sentiment out of it. When I was addressing the issue, when I came to TVC, I made it point blank clear. There is difference between management and cure. I'll give you an example. If a child is sick of sickle cell and is rushed to the hospital, there is crisis, you infuse blood. Why does those blood vanish after a few weeks and will require another blood? There is difference between management and cure. And I heard the other man talking. Without due respect, I have not addressed people living with sickle cell. That day I came, I said, for those who are intending to produce more, new ones, because the old ones, we know that they are with us. Fine, they are with us. And all we could do is to give them the best management. There is difference between management and cure. I'm a professor of genetics. A lot of people have questioned my certificate, and I have on one or two occasions the opportunity to show the whole world my certificate and where I got them from.
But do you think, sir, that you're using the wrong words? Prof, I mean, the issue, a lot of people agree with you somewhat, that yes, we should cure. But those words you use, the phrases of waste, pure water sachet, yeah, those are phrases that are too harsh, and it seems insensitive
you
to
bury
those
your
carrying,
you bury your children,
those carrying the disease. So, let's respond to that.
Yes, I understand your feeling, because one, you are taking it from a sentimental view because you are affected. But I was not talking to those who are living with it like you now. I have not addressed you. Because in our own program, in EO Foundation, I have called the president of Nigerian Biotech Association, Professor Benjamin Ubi. If he's opportunity to be listening to me, he will confirm it, that I have called him. And I have given him some genetic base that we are going to look at in terms of providing a bit of lasting treatment. Okay. Let me give you an example of what I told him. I said the major two basic symptoms that kill a carrier, not even a carrier, a sufferer, because there is difference between a carrier and a sufferer.
Yes.
A sufferer is an SS.
Yes.
We are not talking of people living with them now. We are looking at, let's assume I am AS, I'm marrying an AS, and we want to get married. So don't look as if I'm addressing you. And every person in the whole world living with sickle cell should, at this point, not assume that I'm talking to them.
Okay, we have to round us. I need you to hit the points,
Good.
Prof.
So what we are saying is this, that basic genetic disorder starts from the point life is starting.
Yes.
And once you bring them into life, that from day one till any day they go, you will need to spend money.
Okay, let me cut it off there.
Yes,
Let our professor, our guest respond to what he said. In your view, because he's obviously talking about prevention, he's not focusing so much on those carrying. You've suffered it. You've gone through that process.
Oh, yes.
So you can understand the issue of maybe not, management is difficult. But in responding to him, what are your views on what he just said? Let me start with Prof, then I'll come to you, man.
He's wrong. You cannot stop two people from marrying each other. It's better they know, and if they take the decision, they take the decision. Because America did a lot of research, which we haven't done, we don't put any money into research, we now find that you can, from when they're born, from second month, you can give them drugs to prevent a lot of the infections that will kill them as children. Okay. So we know a lot about it. And we know what they can take when they're older to, from when they're children to when they...
Okay. Let me let Tinuke say something on what you've heard.
So, and also, what about hypertension, marrying somebody with hypertension? Or diabetes, because the same thing, the families have them. And I have hypertension because my father's side, my mother's side has hypertension. But with research, I know which drug to take. Every morning I've taken it today. And it keeps my pressure normal.
All right.
We should, look, one thing we lack here in Africa, we're very good artists, we're intelligent, but our science, but for Europeans who came, we wouldn't have this electric light.
Right. Okay, let me let Tinuke respond because we have to close very soon. Yes.
Okay.
I want you to respond to what...
Like what Professor is actually saying is prevention. That is different from cure. We cannot absolutely prevent it. Absolutely. Because there is... everybody have their life to live. Okay. And they have a right to happiness. Just like Prof said, that somebody didn't want to marry AS because of this giving birth to Sickle and went to try AA and it didn't work. And I think that person deserves some happiness.
Well, is that happiness when you have to deal? Let me let Mariam come in because she waited for a while.
Nevertheless, let me finish. Okay. Nevertheless, if someone like me that have suffered it and I've been through it, on my sick bed, I tell myself, no matter what, I'll go and look for a happy AA man to live with.
Okay,
so that I don't bring forth.
Good, I'm just happy. You see, you mentioned two major things. You mentioned your religion, Christianity.
Yes.
And then you also mentioned that you're aware. You're also living with sickle cell.
Yes.
You took a decision to marry an AA, even though you're Christian.
Yes.
You understand that God heals and everything.
Yes.
But this professor has talked about people who have gone to pastors and they've said to them, your AS or your SS will be turned to AA. You know, but you have this sickle cell.
So
you're the one that suffers.
to make them aware.
Yes, our duty to make that. Could you please make people aware that even though with your Christianity, you still made that decision to marry AA because for your children's sake, I'm sure you didn't want to bring children that will go
what
through.
The Professor Sirius tried to get everybody to that point.
So could she tell us, you know, why she made that decision for herself and this, you know?
Yes, I will advise every viewer that is looking at me right now, watching me, please, if it is possible, avoid it.
Yes.
Okay,
look,
possible.
God, if you talk to God, God can bring AA your way. Okay. That's what I wanted, and God did it.
Because we have to round up. Prof, in your view, because yes, I know you're a Christian, so you've added the Christianity part, but in your view, you're saying that we can't really force people to marry.
Because when, even here, some pastors are doing it, we can't marry you because you have the two of you. Yes. And people have started changing their genotypes. Because, it brings people with AS, making them feel as if they're second-class citizens, and so on.
Actually, I've been to church.
You should know it.
Programs where
and then you take your decision.
ASS.
It's not something you can say, you made a law, hypertension.
Okay.
Or
Unfortunately, that's all we can take. We've run totally out of time. Thank you, Professor, for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Atinike, for being on. Regards to your husband.
Thank you.
All right, hopefully we'll put a rest to this conversation because, yes, last week it was really, really crazy on Twitter and on social media. Have a fabulous day. Remember, tomorrow is Wednesday live audience. Please come early so you can get a chance to sit in the audience. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow.